Hi, I am Emily Edelstone, a Technical Solutions Executive at Autodesk, and I am here today to walk you through our Autospecs tool. Autospecs sits inside of the Autodesk Construction Cloud, and we're looking at that screen right now. On the left-hand side here, that's where I can flip between my different modules and get to that Autospecs module. And then here I can flip between my different projects. I created a brand new project here so that I can walk through this demo start to finish as to how to actually use Autospecs. So we are going to start out by uploading our set of specifications. We can either grab this from our files or from our computer, or I can drag and drop into there. So we're going to go ahead and grab this from my files. I do have a set of specs in here. I'm going to go ahead and use my first version. We're going to actually be going through the two different versions here today. So we'll go ahead and get that uploaded. Now it's going to ask me a few different questions to get this started. So the first one is just the version name. I'm going to call this version 1. This could be IFC, DDs, whatever it is. And then we're going to go ahead and go to the details. Right now I'm in CSI master format. I know that my specs are in that. And then I'm also in the United States. So I'm going to go ahead and start generating that submittals. What this is doing is it is running through all of the OCR of my spec book and pulling out all the different submittal requirements, whether those are action items, closeout items, things like mockups, and it's using our AI technology to pull those out. This typically takes, few minutes. This says up to 15 minutes here. Sometimes it can be a little bit longer if your set of specifications are like a dirty scan. It will take a little bit longer, but it does a really good job, and then it will email you when it is completed. Okay, so that took 5 minutes to do both versions of my spec. So I ended up uploading the second version. I'm gonna go ahead and refresh this here. I did get an email stating that it was done. And just to note, you do not actually have to keep this window open. So you can go ahead and leave the window and come back to it when you get that email stating that it is ready to go. So now on the home screen here, we have a really nice dashboard of all the different items that it pulled out for me. So this is wild. In 5 minutes, it did 2 different versions here. I can flip between my different versions and see all of those different submittal requirements for me. It's pulling out things like shop drawings, samples, lead requirements, O&M manuals that are needed, attic stock. It's pulling out mockups, which are really important. So this can be used during the estimating process. Make sure that you're picking up all the mockups, you're picking up all the attic stock. It can also be used during the construction phase to make sure that you're doing all your submittals. And then in the closeout phase, to make sure that you have all of your closeout submittals as well. It's also breaking it all out by different divisions here so that you can click into those. All of these are clickable links. What that will do is it will pull me into my smart register and have it filter down for those specific items. If I do not go ahead and click on one of those, I can come into my entire smart register here and look at all of my different submittal requirements. Then we have different filters, so I could filter it down by division. So if I want to, I can look at just the concrete division, and then I could go into a specific section within that if I want to. I can also look at it by different submittal types. So maybe I want just shop drawings. So I can look at just my shop drawings. So I can really slice and dice this information. And we can go ahead and add in our own submittals into here. We can copy, make a single copy or multiple copies. That could be helpful if you have multiple trades that are submitting on the same different requirement. And then we can always go ahead and merge or delete different line items and do different updates to it. So a lot that we can do here. My favorite thing is being able to open this up in our spec view. So I can actually go ahead and see in the spec book, read through the spec book and look at the different submittal requirements that it's pulling out. So I can, do my QC and make sure it's really doing it properly for me. I know a lot of people are still skeptical of AI. This has really great rate of capturing everything. And then I also know a lot of people like to have, a project engineer read through the specs and learn what they're actually doing, what we're actually building on the project. So reading through the specs in this view and turning on and clicking through the different submittals that it is pulling out and highlighting them is a fantastic way to do your QC as well as to read through the specs. So you're allowing your team to understand what is being built without having to spend that time of creating their submittal log with that manual Excel workflow. You're going to get a better product by doing this, right? Because I know for me, I would, fall asleep basically, or get distracted or bored when I was putting together submittal registries with an Excel workbook and double screening them. I was also probably missing things because I just probably wasn't very accurate, right? So this does all of that heavy lifting for me, make sure that I have that quality product done, and then I can do that QC and read through it and make sure that I'm still learning what we're building on the project. I'm actually probably going to learn even more by turning these submittals on so that I can understand what is actually required on the project versus maybe a project engineer right out of college has no idea when they're putting together that submittal log, right? So this is a really great way to look through that. We also have the Smart Build. So if there is something that is missing or you want to add in there, if it's, some other requirement, you can go ahead and create that submittal. So here gives you some different ways that you can go ahead and do that. You can just drag over the text and it's going to grab it all for you. And then we also pull out product data. So different products that are required on the project. If you do want a submittal on this, we can go ahead and just add that there to the Smart Register. And it's going to throw that onto my submittal registry. And then I also have the ability to flip through the different versions here. Back in the Smart Register, this is where I can go ahead and review my different versions of the specs. So I can compare those two different versions. So you can see version 1 versus version 2, the difference in submittal numbers. So version 2 has significantly more submittals than version 1. If I want to look at the differences, I can go ahead and click there and see the differences between the two. Right now it's showing all of my different submittals. I can go to just the changes. So I can see ones that were added in version 2. And if I scroll down, I've got ones that were removed. So we can look at the added versus the ones that were deleted and also the ones that were modified. And if I want to look at this in further detail, I can click into it and it's actually going to pull up there that text. So I can see that the text under this subsection number actually changed from one version to the next. So this is a great way to make sure that you are covering your bases when you have different versions of your spec books. This is something that I dealt with a lot and could have really benefited from while in the industry. And then back to the Smart Register here. The last thing that I wanted to cover was the ability to publish these. So I can publish them into the submittals in Autodesk Build. Right now, it's just mapping what submittal types do I want to pull with the, correct language there between them. If I want to pull them in as different reports or samples, schedules. So it's giving me that option to adjust this if I want to. So we're going to go ahead and click next. And then I can go ahead and publish my submittals. I can publish all of them, or I can just grab some of them. So I'm going to go ahead and grab all of those and click publish. What this is doing now is it's creating a draft submittal for every single one of those line items inside of Autodesk Build. So this is a pretty quick process here to get those into that draft section. So again, I started not that long ago, maybe 10 minutes ago, had all of my submittal requirements. Probably would spend a little bit more time going through QCing, managing which ones did, I need to take, and then get these published. Okay, so now that I push all of those items from my Smart Register in Autospecs to the submittals in Autodesk Build, I can see all of them in draft mode here, and I have the ability to come in and filter it down, look at different items, and I can go ahead and bulk assign these out to my subcontractors, and I can do whatever I want with it from here. So all of these came in as a draft. I can come into each item, and it went ahead and did all the spec sections numbering and naming for me. It pulled through the type, and the description is that section from the specifications, and did this entire draft for me. So it's doing this all in a matter of minutes from start to finish, which is really cool. So you can save all of that time of creating your draft submittals. You can save the time of creating your submittal registry and your submittal logs. And you can do a more quality job if you happen to have multiple different versions of it. You can run your comparison and see what changed. It's great for managing things like your change orders. So there's a lot that can be done with Autospecs. It's an awesome tool, and I'm really excited for you to try it out.